Still at home or not, depending, and controversial parts of our citizenship test are to be scrapped. The test, introduced under the Howard regime, caused much controversy because it was hard and seemed weighted against migrants. A review announced late last year by Mr Rudd has resulted in just the sort of thing that typifies his government.
Nothing has changed.
Some of the criticism concerned Don Bradman. John Howard had originally wanted 98% of the questions in the test to be about him. In the end, there were none. Mr Rudd was atypically cryptic on the subject of Bradman's future role.
The Don is as preserved as the Don has been in the past.
What does that mean? I asked the curator of the Bradman Museum, Taffy Lewis.
Well, in the old days, John Howard, he just loved the Don. He used to come down to the museum in Barrel and he would sleep curled up on Bradman's grave. He was very keen to make sure that Bradman's legacy, and indeed Bradman himself, was preserved for future generations. So he passed a law that forced us to dig up Bradman's body so that it could be mummified.
Yes.
I always remember the look on Howard's face when the crane winched the coffin out of the hole in the ground. He was like a kid on Christmas morning. He tore open the rotting casket with this little wooden hatchet and then danced around waving the bones. It took 6 policemen to subdue him. I believe he stole the skull.
Fuck.
And he would try to cram his own head inside it in an attempt to actually become Bradman.
Yes.
Mr Rudd, on the other hand, is a completely different proposition. When he dug up the remains, he merely invited them to the 2020 summit in Canberra.